welcome to episode 159 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And you... Who are you?
You are looking fresh today, my dude.
Oh my god.
Looking
Funky
mighty
and
fresh.
Oh my god, you had that
Looking clean.
you had that enema done.
Yeah.
Makes you look so clean.
Yes. And that's why you look really clean.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious me, the enema.
Oh my goodness, wonderful to have you. Have you done your daily blood tithe,
Oh my
your
God.
daily sorrow check-in, and your daily dread check-in? That's what I want to know.
These are the things that we need to know.
Because there's a lot of things that you have to check in for now.
Yeah, because I need to know you're there every day.
I don't know if any.
I'm like an overbearing parent.
Yeah. To be fair, by the time that this goes out, we'll have had a stream since the daily dread and daily sorrow.
Oh my god.
I don't even know. No, it's because we stream on Twitch. Hey,
Hey,
come
we
check
stream
us
on
out.
Twitch. Come check us out. We stream every Thursday, Sunday, and every other Tuesday.
I was showing this photo of the dog, and Jack was in the background. He had just woken up, and he was just contemplating life.
Flat on my back, just.
And he mimicked it, and Vince
clipped it on stream.
Clipped it and made it into an emote on Discord.
Let's go.
So now every day in the live stream discussion, we send in the daily dread.
The daily dread.
And we did a Patreon update where I once again showed another photo of me crying.
Yes.
And we now have the daily sorrow.
Yes, we have the daily dread and the daily sorrow.
So is that something I might make for a check-in on Twitch? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Does that mean there's going to be too many check-ins? Hey, maybe.
But you don't have to use them all. It's up to you which ones you check in.
Yeah.
But you do have to give your blood to the entity.
We need to have a daily joy check-in as well.
Yeah.
We should have a
that be
daily
the dog?
joy one. Yeah.
That could be the dog.
Yeah, the dog with that weird photo of him.
Yeah, where it's like...
Yeah, that can be daily joy.
Yeah.
And we should... I don't know if I can set something up so it's like everyone who like sends one in, it tallies what today's feeling is.
Yeah.
If it's dread, sorrow, or joy.
It's like a poll.
Yeah.
And we can see how chat's feeling.
Yeah. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, I will do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yep, certainly.
I'm sure we'll find a way.
Oh, how are you?
If there's a will, there's a way. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I'm kind of hot.
Yeah, same.
It's a little humid today.
Muggy today, isn't it?
It's not.
You know
It's
what?
not like sunny outside. It's
Yeah.
overcast, but it's still just really hot.
Because it rained. Was it yesterday? It rained quite a lot.
Yes.
But the thing is, it wasn't like a thunderstorm rain.
No.
That's why I don't think it's gotten out of its system. You know when you have a proper thunderstorm rain.
Me, yeah, I know all the time. Do it all the time, me.
Me every time I cry.
No.
Me last D&D session. Like, you know when there's a big thunderstorm and it completely clears the air. It just rained yesterday, so
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's still really humid, and I'm warm. My
Yeah, I'm
tummy
warm.
hurts, and I'm warm.
My tummy hurts?
Yeah, my
Your
tummy hurts. Yep.
Oh,
Hey,
you didn't tell me that.
hey, my tummy hurts. Hey, how
Oh.
about that? Hey.
Hey.
I'm being brave. I got a short tummy, but I'm pushing through. All my IBS pals. I don't have IBS. I don't know. I might.
Mm.
I don't.
Maybe.
Mm.
You might do. You never know. You might have just picked it up along the way.
Yeah. All those flaws I've been licking.
Maybe
you know?
when I pick up diseases.
Me when I pick up
It's not
IDS.
diseases.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a long-term illness, I think.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't know if it's a disease. I don't know if it's quite a disease. I don't know if IBS could be described as a disease.
Yeah, well, a disease of the brain. Because
Oh my
listen,
God.
if I had IBS, God, not. You know what? I went to uni, and I had
Sick. Tell me more.
one of my friends'
I'm
roommates. She had IBS, and it was. I don't know if your unis do this. I can only speak for our uni. I think a lot in UK do it. Final fling,
Uh-huh.
where like
Yeah,
at the end of the year, there's like a
There's just
big
like a party
on
in
the uni
campus.
campus. We were all. It was our first final fling, and we went for a curry at Witherspoons beforehand. I know.
I was going for a curry.
I know,
before
that's-
you go out and drink.
Honestly, I know. Such a bad decision. And she was like, just to prepare you all.
I'm gonna be.
Yeah, she was
In
like, I'm gonna be
prison.
my Oh no, I'm gonna
That's why I said shouldn't.
I'm gonna be pooping my pants all day.
Oh well, just don't eat the curry then.
And I'm gonna stink. And lo and behold, that's the truth.
Oh, you better believe that was the truth.
To be honest, I think that was all of us. There was an
She
aura.
was stinking.
There was a vile aura around all of us that day.
Vile
To be
aura.
honest,
That's something I give to an enemy. That is something I give to an enemy.
yeah, it is something you gave to an enemy. We had a great D&D session.
A brilliant D&D
very,
session.
very, very emotional D&D session.
Yeah.
I was crying before we even started.
Yeah.
So that don't use that as an indicator to how sad it was, but it was sad. It was a huge pivotal thing for my character specifically.
Yeah, for your character specifically. Yeah. It was a great session. I think all of them at the minute have been really good. I think it's just because we're sort of like we're up there in the like payoff moments of a lot of people's backstories and stuff like that, and we're about to be on session 30 next session.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And then we might be closing in on sort of like the last arc.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah,
exciting times.
To all of our patrons, we've kind of just come off the back of a D&D campaign update for you,
which was super good fun.
We will be doing an extra one to try and get you caught up in the meantime, because as you know, we don't have a lot of sessions left. If you would like to be part of kind of the finale of our D&D campaign over on
Patreon, there's 3 tiers. The Moon Druid and the Entity tier have access to the campaign updates.
Yes.
You have access to all of the VODs as well, so you can catch up. There's hours and hours of content going to be put up there over the months and years to come.
There's an extensive already. I don't want to say too much because I want to run it past this person if they're okay with me sharing it publicly. There is an extensive thing going on behind the scenes of compilation. Yeah. You also get access to all of our campaign notes that we basically like write to read the script off for what we tell you.
You get to look at my battle maps and get a little bit of insight into my enemies and sort of like abilities that they can do and things like that. So a little sneak peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, and we've organized for in between because the campaign doesn't have much longer left. We're gonna get our friends in between on those streams that you would have a campaign update when we're not doing them. We're gonna get our friends on and we'll talk. You'll get to meet like the crew basically.
Yeah, and while we're doing like one shots and stuff, we'll let you know like what builds we're playing and characters we're playing for one shots. Because I think unbelievably, Abby's said that she wants to do another one. I think. Yeah,
Abby's. The idea for Abby's is so cool.
Abby did one last time in between our campaigns.
Yeah, she did it like a modified version of Spelljammer.
Yeah, Spelljammer. So we went to the school and learned some stuff and stuff like that. And she hated it.
She did. Yeah, she hated it. She hated it.
I feel like she dreaded every session.
I don't even feel it was that. I honestly think she just prefers being... It's exactly like me. Yeah. Like, I ended up dreading it, but that was for different reasons.
But I'm just surprised she wants to do it again. I'm glad.
Well, it's because she has such a cool idea.
Yeah.
The idea is really, really, really cool. I won't say it in case... for her sake, but if we end up doing it, I think you'll really dig what the idea is. So all of that on Patreon. We're closing in, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to finish this. I'm excited to share it with you. Honestly, I'm really excited to have you all involved from the conception of a campaign
of the next
as well,
campaign.
To be honest with you.
The first session through to the last.
Yeah.
Every and the thing is, because obviously it's a little bit easier now because we're sort of up to like nearly into the 20s in the recap, and we're only on 29, so we're only recalling like sort of 10 sessions back. Man, when we were like on session 25, when we were trying to recall like session 3, rock hard, unbelievably hard,
really hard.
So it's getting more concise as we get like further along because it's fresher in our minds.
Exactly.
But yeah, campaign updates have been brilliant, and we've really, really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
So if you want to get involved in things like that, please feel free to check out the Patreon. The link's in the description below. Check out our Twitch. We stream every Friday, Sunday, and every other Tuesday. We do things like advice and bits like that. Check out our merch. www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Patrons get 10% off. But you can go and check out some sick D&D threads on there. Anything else?
No, we got some cool stuff coming. Got some really cool stuff coming.
Updates coming.
Cool, fun stuff. No, I don't think so. No.
Comment, subscribe.
There was something I was going to
hit
say.
the bell. Well, if you remember it, we can say it later.
Oh, dog's here. Oh, the dog. Dog went off his food.
Yeah, that's just what old men do.
Yeah,
he went off his food, so we got some pumpkin powder.
And
all we do is just put a bit of water in it, and it like coats his food, and he just eats it.
And it's like, if that's all it took, like every single time he's gone off his food.
The first day when I didn't have the pumpkin, I just put some veggie stock in his food.
Because he's a vegetarian. Not from our sake. Not because of us.
No.
Because
the
he's
vets
allergic
told
to
him he had to be.
everything. Yeah.
Allergic to chicken, beef, pork, turkey.
Himself. He's allergic to himself.
Everything.
Yep.
Grass, dust.
Yep. Being alive.
So got to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, sorry. That's it. Yeah, that was kind of belated, really, to throw that in there.
Yeah.
But if the camera moves again.
No, camera hasn't moved. I've got my eye on it.
That's why. So, shall we get into this day's... I was going to say this evening's topic.
Oh my god. Well,
I mean, it might be evening for you.
It will be. It comes out 6 o'clock.
Might be evening for you. Yeah, it does.
It as soon as it comes out.
Let's get into...
But you should be watching it as soon as it comes out, right? Thank you so much to all our patrons over at Patreon.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
If you want to support us over at Patreon and gain access to our exclusive content,
like our D&D campaign updates and our extra monthly live streams,
click the link in the description. More about Patreon at the end of this video. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
We are doing this month on r/D&D Reddit.
This month on the Reddit.
Good God, what's going on with me?
This month on the Reddit.
This month on the Reddit. We love these ones.
You got the IBS disease.
I got the IBS disease. I'm very sad.
I'm very silly.
I'm very silly.
Tell me how very silly you are in the comments.
Are you very silly?
Tell me how very silly or very sad you are in the comments. I'm very, very sad.
So, as you know, we always shout out 2 artists or businesses at the end. I think we've got 2 artists this week again. We have a big question that everyone can answer, and it's honestly just fun stuff from the Reddit.
It's just good fun. We just talk about fucking D&D and that, don't we? And it's good shit.
So, speaking of being very silly.
Oh, me when I'm very silly.
The first topic we're going over is, what is the weirdest role as a DM that you had to do for your players?
What, like play? Which role that you had to play?
Yeah, what's the weirdest role your players basically manifested for you to do?
Oh, God, okay.
You can have a think, unless you'd like to go first.
No, I'll wait.
I do want to say, before we start, on this thread, there was a lot, and I mean overwhelmingly a lot of things, like essay, which just isn't funny.
Just double it out.
That people were absolutely saying were hilarious. Categorically are not.
No.
No means no. Any form of essay, in-game, out-game, is not okay, and it's not funny. So obviously, I didn't pick anything to do with that. Obviously, because it's not a joke. But I just wanted to say that overwhelmingly it was just like dumb shit like that, which was disgusting. But there is some good ones.
All right, good.
So, some harmless ones. This one is roll a constitution check to see how much raw horse meat you can eat without sickening yourself.
How much raw horse meat?
How much raw horse meat?
How did we get here?
Yeah, well, that's it. Like,
how did we get here?
Oh, he's caught in my wire.
Oh, he's caught in the wire.
Doesn't matter. There you go. There you go.
Tesco would have something to say about that. Okay.
I want to know, how did we get to this point?
How did we get to the point where we're trying to find out how much raw horse meat we can eat before we make ourselves sick?
And you know what? I can imagine this is one of those things that was a snowball, and then the DM was just sat there like, all right.
Is horse meat dark?
Yes.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yes.
Has to be, right.
Imagine if it was light.
Light meat, just fucking, well, actually, you just did one bite, and technically you might not feel sick right now. You got salmonella on the go.
Yeah, horse meat has to be red, right?
Yeah, because I think Tesco used it for beef, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they did. Yeah, they did.
Dreadful shenanigans.
I know.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
No.
An animal is
an
animal.
If you're willing to eat a cow, you should be willing to eat a horse.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
True. I mean, it doesn't mean you should.
No, it doesn't mean you should. No, absolutely not. But, people who are kicking off being like, oh my God, poor horses, is like, cows and horses like are pretty much exactly the same.
It's like, look, I eat meat, but at least I'm not fucking like.
Yeah, I know, being like, Oh
so
God,
it's like, what's the difference between a horse and a cow?
Yeah,
None.
Isn't. Like, you know, I this is coming off the back of we were vegetarian for years, and I eat meat because I'm selfish. I'm a selfish being, and I'm a firm believer of you can't be like, oh, I really love all animals except for ones that are bred to be eaten and killed, and in which case I don't care about them. You know, like. I can't sit on a throne and be like, I love animals.
You sit on the throne of lies.
I sit on the throne of lies.
You sit on the throne of lies. It's true. You sit on the throne of lies.
Yeah, I realize that's a very personal thing to me that I is my own interpretation of myself. But raw horse meat.
Raw horse meat. Interesting. I'm okay. Nice.
So the next one. This. I know this will be Abby's favorite. Is. Bigfoot perception checks.
Can I get some Bigfoot perception checks, please?
They're convinced he lives in the woods around one forestry town, and every time they travel that way, they roll perception checks to see if he's around.
No, they haven't said anything. They're just like, Bigfoot's gotta be here.
It started as a joke, but now they do them every time, and if they roll a 20 or higher, they see him. But despite their attempts, he never gets any closer or interacts with them.
Oh, very good.
I think that's quite fun.
I think it's fun that, you know, like you had no intention of Bigfoot being there, but now because they do it all the time on a 20 or higher, they just get to see Bigfoot.
Yeah. And just the idea that Bigfoot lives in this world, it's canon. Bigfoot lives in this world. I think
Go on,
that's so. I think that there's many photos of me looking like Bigfoot. I'm not gonna lie. There's many photos taken of me off guard where I look like that photo of Bigfoot.
You do have wide feet.
I do.
You do have little flippers.
I do have wide feet. I do.
You do have big feet.
Cryptid in themselves.
Because how big are your feet?
Well, size 6 UK. Not.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're 5'1".
Yeah, I am.
Like size 6, 5'1", and they're wide.
They're what? Oh,
they're wide.
Oh, they're flippers. They're ham
like
hocks.
Flat, and it's like there's not like much. You know, like feet can be like shapely and like curved. Migrants are just like
a block.
The heel is like round, and then it's just like triangle. Toes.
You know the typical cartoon picture of a steak.
Yeah,
that's what my feet look like.
Pork chops.
Yeah, I got pork chops for feet.
They just look like pork chops with little toes on the ends.
They do. They really do. But yeah, big.
So they were doing a Margaret check.
Yeah. It's just me. People are like, God, this fucking creepy cryptid. It's just me. It's just me getting my 20 minutes of air a day.
My enrichment time in the forest.
Yeah. The next one, a roll to see if the oiled up muscles of a dragonborn paladin flexing could distract a crew of pirates while another PC explored the ship. He rolled a natural 20, so the crew joined him, naked, oiled up, and all flexing in unison.
Yeah, they're all just flexing.
Yeah,
they just rip the tops off, and they're all just like walking around.
I just love the idea that the players being like, all right, okay. Flexing.
I'm jacked.
I'm jacked.
Look, I'm absolutely jacked.
I'm oiled up.
I've got some baby oil. Just let me give it a go.
Let me distract him.
Yeah.
I'm getting some homoerotic energy on this ship.
Yeah, big homoerotic energy.
So come on.
You'll start doing the YMCA.
Yeah. Hot to go, but for the gays.
No,
Don't know what to tell them.
It was
YMCA, but for the gays.
We were talking about Hot to Go by Chapel Roan on stream, and somebody in the chat said, it's like the YMCA for the gays. And they were like, I don't know what to tell them.
Oh, God, well.
I don't know. I really don't know what to tell them.
I don't know what to say.
Look. I'm getting some homoerotic energy on this ship. I'm about to flex. Let's see if they join me. I'm joining. I'm happy for you that it worked.
The next one is, I just... Because there's no context to these are so funny to me. Roll to see if there was goblin piss in a well. In brackets, there was. And then roll for my dragonborn who blows glass to make a pipe in the shape of a dick and balls to deceive a bugbear. Well, how did we get to the point where the only thing that would deceive a bugbear
is a glass dick and balls?
Yeah, as a pipe of a crotch. Like, why are we at that point?
How did we get there? So why are we trying to deceive the bugbear? Did we have a glass blowing kit on hand and a forge. Oh, watch out, Bully.
Dog's gonna get. He's so close to the camera.
Bully.
Oh God.
Did we have a glass blowing kit and a forge on hand?
I think so.
To heat the glass enough.
I think so.
So it could be blown.
I think so.
To then blow it into a dick and balls.
Yeah.
And to then go.
Then deceive. Then
But
be the
what
deceiver.
are you doing to deceive
what's
it?
the deceiving?
Where is the deceiving coming from
What
here?
are we deceiving? That's what I want to know. And you know what? This was all the same submission. Roll to see if there was goblin piss in the well. I feel like that sums up D&D.
Yeah.
And then in brackets,
roll to see if there's goblin piss in the well.
In brackets, there was.
There was.
Like, why are we checking to see?
Maybe they were just trying to find out clues if there was goblins about.
Maybe.
And the first thing they were like, there's a well there. Maybe the goblin pissed in it. I love them.
Oh, I just think that's so funny. And then the last one.
Oh, God.
Half-orc barbarian decided to shit on the prized giant pumpkin that a village had grown. While intoxicated, he had to climb on top of the pumpkin, drop trow, do his business in the middle of the night, after having been adventuring for over a day and a half with only a short rest in the middle. Long story short, the party found him the next day in the pumpkin patch, covered in his own filth, next to a giant busted pumpkin.
Fuck's sake.
And you know what? That isn't the funny part.
Ugh.
The funny part to me is, why did the barbarian want to poo on the pumpkin?
Why not?
Like, how did we come to
Margaret,
that?
this is D&D.
Oh,
And we can do anything we want. So when there's a big pumpkin,
you want to shit on
why
it?
don't I shit on it?
I just don't know how we got to the point of making up these things to be like, yeah.
Man.
He's gonna do that actually.
The barbarians walking through the fair, and then they see the prize pumpkin, and they're like, man,
Shit on
what I would do to shit on that pumpkin.
Like, why?
The things I would do to lay one down on
lay
that pumpkin.
waste to this pumpkin. So that was them. What about you? What's the
I can't
weirdest
really
thing
think
we
of
made you
mine.
roll for?
Can you think of one?
There definitely will be ones. Definitely. There's roles that we've had to do where we're like lying to each other because like someone's stolen something from one another.
Yeah, there's been very like low stakes lying about making things for like other party members that are nice, but they just don't want them to find out and stuff like that. And I've had to, but I can't really think of anything this ridiculous.
No, same.
that you've made me do.
Definitely has been.
There has been, but none of them come to mind.
Yeah.
I did have to play recently a
little flower.
A flower.
You did have to play a little flower.
But I didn't have to. I was playing a flower.
Yeah.
And then somebody
murderer.
picked it, and then
Murderer,
their friends call them a murderer. You murdered our friend. Murderer.
And then we ended up propagating this flower because we felt so bad, and then Marcus ended up doing mending to it.
Yeah.
And, it was just a cute little fey flower, and it was just really scared. And Dale picked it, and all of them.
What a fucking what an evil person Dale is. Am I right?
Abby, never so close to crying.
Yeah.
What about you? What's the most ridiculous thing that either as a DM or a player you've had to roll for? I know that there will be some. I absolutely know that you will have some silly, wild times. So please let me know
down in the comments.
Oh, all right. The next one. The title is. What is that on my leg? Oh, it's Dog Eye Gunk. Oh.
Everybody crab riff?
Thanks, bully. Oh my.
Oh my
that was
goodness.
nice.
You shouldn't have. Thank you so much.
Earlier today when I was like, what's in your beard? And you're like, it's water. Then you were like, no, it's spit actually.
From cleaning my teeth.
Yeah, nah, it's actually spit.
I'm a vile being.
So the title of this is RDM gave us this is the point of no return from RPGs, and it hit us hard.
Oh my god.
So the party, me, a Samaroon Knight, an Eldritch Knight, a Barbarian/Fighter, and an Anti-Magic Monk, homebrew stuff.
Oh my god, you're all melee?
All melee.
Wow, let's go.
You know, Eldritch Knight, and I
Still
guess
melee.
I guess you could say Rune Knight has some...
Definitely
you know,
melee.
an Anti-Magic Monk and a Barbarian Fighter. Like, all melee. So we've been fighting through a town that's being invaded by demons. And then when we get to the center tower of it, broken but still standing. He has a bizarre shopkeeper sell us stuff like unique potions that offered some of us, that gave us the equivalent of short rests and long rests.
Oh, cool.
2 for the short rest, 1 for the long. I and the monk took the short rest ones, and the Eldritch Knight took the long night one. It sucks not having a full caster, but you have to push on. The Eldritch Knight had the inspiring leader feat, and we ended with his speech. I'm hoping we have a chance against an Archfey, but no matter what, we're going in, charging at his forces.
Yeah.
I love that moment in a campaign. The point of no return. This is your last checkpoint. This is the last time you have to, and in this case, get potions, have a rest.
Yeah, rest up. Gather your resources.
Items.
Maybe like have a chat and have
say
like
goodbyes.
a good space to like just sit down and talk to each other, because really it's going to be drinking these potions to rest, because we're not going to be able to truly rest.
Yeah. Like this is it.
This is it.
We know that this is going to make or break us.
Yeah.
And the inspiring leader feat I think is just so good. I can cinematically picture this.
I love the inspiring leader feat.
Yeah, me too.
Is it the best feat? No. But is it like thematic and cinematic?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It
I
really,
love
really
the
is.
inspiring leader feat.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite feats.
Me too. I really like it.
Like when a player sort of realizes that moment is coming, so they have the rest, and then they like just don't. It doesn't even have to be epic, but they think of something to say, and just like try and bolster the party's resolve. I love it. It's great. Really makes for some special roleplay moments.
And you know what? The comments got me really teary-eyed, actually, to be honest with you. Obviously, everyone was like, best of luck, you've got this. And people were dropping their favorite D-Day speeches if you want to hear them. What do you think the first one's going to be?
Don't know.
I'm gonna do this terribly. I'm gonna really not do these speeches any justice. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden.
Oh my god.
Spear shall be shaken, shield shall be splintered. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises. Ride now, ride now, ride. Ride for ruin and the world's ending. Death, death, death.
And that there is how a feat is translated into media.
I agree.
It's like Theoden has, you can see it in the second one as well, because that's obviously Return of the King, but you can see it in Two Towers when they like get pushed back to the keep, and then Aragorn's not like, we ride, and then they get on the horses and they ride out, and like he's like saying things in there as well. He is just a leader. He is a leader. Oh man, I just love Lord of the Rings. I just love it so much.
I know.
It's just so fucking like perfect fantasy.
I know. And again, I didn't give that. I'm really bad at translating speeches, I realize.
But that is an inspiring leader.
It is. It absolutely is.
Like Theoden would have
inspiring leader. Aragorn would have inspiring leader as well.
Aragorn would have inspiring leader.
Totally. I completely agree.
Oh man,
give me goosebumps. The next one,
Samwise Gamgee would have inspiring leader.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Samwise Gamgee,
absolutely.
Like, I can't carry it, but I can carry you, Mr. Frodo.
Yeah.
Like that's an inspiring leader feat.
I agree. I completely agree.
100%.
This next speech, I don't know what this is from. I was supposed to make a note from it. I am certain you will recognize it. You might recognize it. I don't know. But it gave me goosebumps. The time for speeches is done. The first great test is here. My order to you all is simple, yet heed it well and exert yourself to see it done. They are coming. Kill them all.
Come and kill them all. I feel like I do know that. That's not Lord of the Rings again.
No, it's not Lord of the Rings. No, it's not. No. But oh my god, that gave me goosebumps. That gave me goosebumps because you know what? It's the complete opposite from Theoden's.
That's like hyping people up. This is preparing people for what's about to happen.
But it's like a different type of hype,
100%,
I think.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which we both know very well. Lo there do I see my father.
Yeah.
Lo there do I see my mother, my sisters and my brothers. Lo there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning. Lo do they call to me. they bid me take my place amongst them in the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever. It just gets me.
So that's from a movie. I can't remember exactly what movie it is, but it's about Vikings. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I chopped it up and used it in my campaign as well.
And Rayla did as well. Rayla also harkened back to it a couple of times. Yeah. And I just think, man, what a powerful speech.
I agree.
And I think all of these are listen, I would be cannon fodder. In a war, I'd hear that, I'm cannon fodder.
Oh yeah. I'll lay my life down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And like anything when Theoden hits me with that speech.
I'm not afraid of anything.
I'm dying that day.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Same.
I'm throwing myself in front of spears and swords and goblins and trolls and elephants or whatever they're called.
Yep, I don't care.
I don't care. I'm going down with the ship.
Yep, totally. 100%.
Just send me to the depths.
I agree. I hear that. I'm riding for Theoden.
If I make it out alive, I'm disappointed. If I don't die, I haven't done my job.
Man, I'm such cannon fodder.
Yeah, 100%.
Count me in. You know what? I just love that. Again, these were all just comments that were left on this that people were giving support, and I just love that. I just think, what a universal feeling of this feeling, I think. And I think this is one of the greatest things about D&D is, these are heroic feats, right?
Yeah.
These are acts of heroism that in our lifetime, we will never be able to achieve in this sense.
Yeah.
And I
hope I'm never put in that position.
Yeah, I hope I'm not. Yeah, same. Yeah. Even though I just said I would be cannon fodder.
But then Theoden needs to make a speech.
Yeah.
Theoden has to be there and making a speech for me to want to be cannon fodder.
Yeah. And we're lucky enough. We live in a rich country.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a privileged country.
Mm-hmm.
We will probably never see the light and day of war, unlike some first world countries, unlike places like Gaza right now. We're never going to see that. So I think the idea that we can be these heroic, brave, powerful people in game, I think is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just think, you know what? I should have checked to see if there was an update to this one, to be honest with you.
Man, that was good though.
Yeah.
Man, Theoden's gets me every time.
Yeah, same. Gets me every time.
And it's the way he's like riding up and down the line.
Yep.
And like everyone's got the like spears out and swords out and he's like hitting them and he's like saying it. Oh man.
Yep. Agreed. That is the definition of inspiring leader.
Next level.
Yep. Agreed.
Inspiration.
What about you? What's some of the last speeches that you had? What was the point of no return that you had when you were like, this is it? Because we always have one. We always have a point of no return where we're like, we've just had one really with Hemwick. Not really that much of a spoiler, but you were like, this is the last time you're probably going to be here now.
Probably the last time you'll be here, yeah.
This is the last time you'll be here, at least until everything is done and finished. And, for us, that was like a monumental thing. And I'm certain when we go into kind of like the last couple sessions, we will have this moment. We had it last campaign. We had it the first campaign. And I love these moments because they can be really somber moments of, saying goodbye prematurely in case you don't make it, saying goodbye to NPCs you care about, but also a moment to be like, we're here, we've made it, and we're going to finish this off one way or another.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, sick. Unbelievable. I just love like sort of that build up to the end of the campaign where you have that sort of like, there's no going back moment. Like, whether it's like the last arc or even if it's the last fight or something like that, and people sort of know that and understand that, and it's do or die. Like, I just love those moments. They really get me hyped up in D&D.
Yeah, I agree. Right, the next one is, the title is, this is more of a discussion, why does everyone want a DM, but no one wants to be a DM? There's a lot of replies in here that I think are all interesting talking points.
Okay.
And I'm sure that we have some and you have some too.
Yeah, I've got a lot on this.
A really good one was, well, why does everyone want a gourmet meal, but no one wants to go to culinary school? It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And someone said, I like this culinary analogy. Analogy.
Yeah, analogy.
That doesn't sound right.
Analogy is right, yeah.
Analogy?
Yeah.
This culinary analogy. Usually, I answer this with the question with the analogy of hosting a party. Example 1, would most people prefer to show up to a party on time, bring one item they were asked to bring, and your only other obligation is just to not be a dick and ruin the night for anyone other guests?
Which is quite hard for a lot of people, apparently.
Yeah. Or would most people prefer to host a party, prepare everything, constantly monitor everyone to ensure they're having fun, take notes on their interests, introduce everyone to everything, and the whole time be consistently bombarded with questions from every guest that arrives, along with all the other errands that go into hosting and cleaning up after a party?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, some folks like to host parties, but I would wager that the vast majority are too daunted to host a party.
I agree.
Or, after doing it once or twice, really confirm they would just prefer the ease of being a guest.
Yep.
It takes a lot of work to DM, even if you just improv everything.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It does. It really does. Like, a lot of people think that improv DMs don't plan. It's just like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us, like me, I am an improv DM. And the mental planning and stuff that goes into it from me it takes up a lot of brain space.
Yeah.
And it takes up a lot of time and a lot of thought and stuff like that. It doesn't mean just because we're not sat at the computer writing things down doesn't mean we're not planning. But for me, I honestly think a large part of it, I agree with all of those points, by the way. All of those points are valid. It's just like, I want to play D&D, but I don't want the responsibility.
Totally.
I don't want the time sink.
Yeah.
I don't want the pressure. I don't want having to learn everything. I don't want to have to be dad of the group.
Yeah.
Parent of the group, because I could just turn up and just play, and that's just so much easier.
It is.
And I think a lot of it, honestly, is a confidence thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say, yeah.
I can tell you right now, there's so many people out there who would be fucking brilliant dungeon masters. Like, unbelievably great dungeon masters.
Yeah.
And they probably enjoy it just as much, if not more.
Yeah.
Because if you do love DMing,
it's a passion.
it brings you a lot of joy.
Yeah, it does.
But a lot of people are just too scared to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think it's because, and to be honest, this can be said for kind of like any hobby, right? But there is a lot of rhetoric online. The first thing you search when you search be a DM, you see
it's like 5 tips to be a brilliant DM.
Yeah, and 5 things not to do, and how to make your DMing level up, and how to be special at DMing. And I think, and we do this as well, by the way. We've definitely done videos like this where we're like, oh, here's how to DM. But
it's not here's how to DM, it's here's just good steps to take towards starting to DM.
Yeah. And I think there isn't enough emphasis on the fact that DMing looks different to every single other person.
For every single person.
And DMing, unfortunately, is a trial by fire. You can't go in you can have all of the knowledge in the world about DMing. For example, math. Math, you learn the equations, they don't change. They're
right or
static
wrong.
things.
Yeah.
There's a right and a wrong way.
There's no interpretation.
There's no interpretation. There's no other influence apart from the numbers which you've worked out. Something like DMing is more is art, right?
It's art and it's subjective, and you could be a fucking unbelievably great DM for one table, and the other table might think you're the stinkiest DM on earth.
And you know what?
Because it's preference.
It's influence from other people too. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other people who are influencing your decisions. So you can have this static thing, but it's never ever going to apply to the same situation over and over again.
I agree.
And I think that's the scary thing. That's the scary thing for me. I tried DMing and I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it for a few different reasons, but the main reason was I enjoy being a passenger princess. I enjoy
being a player.
I enjoy having a mystery, and I enjoy getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing the conspiracy theories. I don't enjoy being the person who's dropping those bombs. I enjoy being the person finding them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the crux of it. There was other things, obviously.
Yeah, and I think that's a large amount to do with it. It's just so much work. And the thing is, I'm only at this point now in my DMing career where I'm an improv DM and I only plan my battle maps and my monsters and stuff like that, and everything else is left up to it. But I went through the trial by fire. I went through planning pages, thousands of words of notes, and being like, man, this takes so long. I wish I didn't have to do this. And then dealing with the guilt of not prepping and thinking that I'm a bad dungeon master because I'm not doing any prep. And then actually coming to the conclusion that That doesn't make me a bad dungeon master. That's just the way that I need to prep to be able to not burn myself out, to be able to continue being a dungeon master for everyone. It's like my DMing style has changed since the first ever campaign.
Yeah, God, it has.
It's less like set plays and stuff like that, and it is more like free flowing and stuff like that. But there is these still big moments that I do love to have.
Yeah.
But but if that's the way it is for me to not get burnt out and for me to always want to play D&D every week, because that's the way I feel now. Like every time D&D comes around as a dungeon master, I'm just like excited because I'm just like, man, what's gonna happen? It's gonna be sick, and I've got a story to tell, and they're gonna influence it, and I'm happy with them influencing it, and I'm happy with them like taking reins on my campaign and changing it and getting the dirty little mitts all over it. But that takes a long time to become comfortable with.
Definitely.
And getting from session 1 DM to where I am now has taken me 3.5 years.
And I feel like there is a huge imposter syndrome for DMs.
Oh my God, 100%.
Because you see people online, it could be anyone. You see someone DMing a certain way and you go, oh man, why can't I be like that? But you can never be like that because you're not that person. And DMing is something
different.
that is so personal and so stylized to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I think comparison is the thief of joy. I think DMs get burnt out. I think DMs...
A lot of DMs get burnt out.
Get quite... I think a lot of DMs are underappreciated. I think there's a big confidence thing as well. I think all of those things for one person is a lot. And it's wild, isn't it? Because it's a game that we play to have fun. And I'm not saying that every DM feels like this, obviously. But I think when you're the head of anything, because the DM, there isn't a hierarchy, but there is organization, and the DM is head of that organization.
And there is a hierarchy in terms of like that's the person that you go to for the ruling. Like they are like the rule master, the dungeon master. The game. They tell you what happens.
Yeah. You know, on a social standing, no, you're all equal. But you know, of course, on an organization level,
in a game standing,
it is different.
Yeah, it is different. 100%.
And I think that responsibility and having to manage people's expectations and having to kind of not be burdened with, because that's not the right word, but I mean, this next comment kind of says it perfectly. Heavy lies the crown. I agree.
Yeah.
Like the expectations of your players, their backstories, what they'd like to see, their feedback, their lack of feedback.
Like if your player, if you're doing everything that you can as a dungeon master and your players aren't happy, it's like that's a confidence destroyer.
It is, absolutely.
Like if you think you're doing everything that you would want, because that's the thing. It's like I give out a session that I would want to receive as a player.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
Is like I'm DMing the way that I would want to be DM'd for as a player. And then if somebody doesn't like that, it's like it's tough because it's like I'm not going to change because I have to enjoy myself. But the fact that you don't enjoy it is just sort of tough, and that's just a horrible feeling.
Well, yeah, it is. It really is. And again, that doesn't mean that DM is wrong. That doesn't mean the players are wrong. It just means it's not the right fit. And we say it all the time. Your first table very rarely is your forever table.
100%.
We were just incredibly lucky. And even then, we've had some changes.
I mean, yeah, we've had changes. And also, I wasn't our first dungeon master.
No,
when we
Matthew
started
was,
playing, Matthew was our dungeon master. And, we've played at a number of different tables with a number of different GMs. And it took us the better part of a year to find the table with me as a dungeon master, you, Matthew, and Josh as players, and then we added Abby in.
And we brought Abby in, and then we started bringing guest spots in, like your brother,
and
like
Wabs.
Courtney and Wabs.
Yeah.
Like we've that's. But I think that comes with confidence of being a good table and a fit for each other. And I think the last point on here that I think is a really interesting point is being an average DM is a specific skill set that often requires time, effort, and perseverance to master. Being an average player requires a pulse and a vague awareness that there are players at the table other than you.
It's true.
Yeah, and that's not to be like, oh, player dumb. I think maybe that's really kind of minimizing what it is to be a player, because you can have bad players and good players.
You can have bad, and look, we've talked about many bad players
and many good players
and many good players as well. But this is the thing: it's just like to be a good person to play with at the table.
Yeah.
Like as a player, don't be an asshole.
Yep.
Consider those around you.
Yep.
give your DM something to work with.
Yeah, learn your one character's stuff.
Be engaged.
And even then, learning the one character stuff people don't do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's not imperative.
Like the game will still continue if you don't know your character stuff.
And to a level, I think as a DM, you don't have to know all the rules, but there has to be some baseline understanding of the bare bones of the game to be able to host one, I think.
And maybe the bare bones of what each of your players can do.
Yeah.
That's not like an absolute given, but it's probably good.
Yeah.
But then you flip it on its head. To be to be an average dungeon master, you have to find players. You have to make sure they're the right fit for the table.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find somewhere to play. You have to organize the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give out a world primer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do safety tools. You have to do any homebrew rules. You have to think of a story. You have to think of everyone's backstories and consider them. You have to plan every single session. You have to keep things fair.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm tip of the iceberg there. And that already 1 million times outweighs what the players have to do.
And by the way, this isn't us trying to dissuade anyone from being a DM. I think this is just, there is so much more responsibility being a DM, but it makes it all more worth the while when you find that you love DMing. Like for you, this is all stuff that you deal with. This is all stuff that you shoulder, but you've come out better for it and you enjoy it far more because of it.
I struggle to be a player now because I just enjoy dungeon mastering so much more. And this is the thing, I think a lot of people hear that and I am making it sound like a lot of stuff, but a lot of it, to be honest, a lot of it is now second nature.
Yes.
And it might not be straight away.
Yeah, think about how easy it is to play a character.
Yeah, but I honestly, genuinely believe that if you are listening to this and you're like, I've always wanted to dungeon master, but I don't feel like I'm good enough, get it out your head. You don't need to know everything. You'll learn along the way. As long as your players understand that you don't know everything and you're going to learn along the way and they're totally fine with that, just give it a go.
Totally.
Do a small, like, couple of session shot or something like that and give it a go. Because if you love it and if you find the passion that I have for it, because for me, I'm a performer. I love to perform. Like I used to go up on stage and I would come off and people were like, you're a really good frontman. Like you get the crowd going and stuff like that. And that's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And like when I took up DMing, I realized that it was the same thing.
Yeah.
I was the orchestrator of the show.
Yeah.
I was the setter of the scene. I was the person who like got final say and made that decision and stuff like that. And it just really, it mirrored it so much.
Definitely.
And I just love it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I have like a true passion for it. And if anyone can feel the way that I feel about DMing, and they're just scared to do it, just give it a go.
Yeah. And all those examples we give, they are not all, oh, you start DMing, oh my God, there's all these things. This is something that over the lifetime of being a DM, that you will encounter them. This isn't your first thing. God forbid, if your players expect that much from you from your very first time DMing at all, then they're expecting too much of you. I completely agree with Jack. It is completely a confidence thing. No guide on the internet will tell you the secret sauce because there isn't one. You are the secret sauce.
Yeah, you are. I agree. You are the secret sauce.
You're the secret sauce. That's the difference. And imposter syndrome is real. You will always compare yourself to others. I understand that.
You will always think you're not good enough. But the fact that you turn up every week, run a session, have things for your players to engage in, is enough. Yeah,
it's a trial by fire, and you will come out the other end if you enjoy it, feeling so much better. And if you come out the other end and you don't enjoy it, then at least you know.
Guess what? You don't have to do it.
And I am not one of these people, by the way, who subscribes to that everyone should DM once. I certainly am not that person.
With that. But
I disagree with that entirely.
But if you've got the itch to do it,
then try it.
You're just worried about it, just find a bunch of people who you trust, find a bunch of people who are understanding, and be like, hey, I'm just going to give it a go, see if I like it. And if you come out the other end thinking you don't, guess what? You never have to do it again.
Absolutely.
But if you come out the other end thinking, man, I had so much fucking fun and I have so many ideas, like, hey, guess what? You can do it.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you are capable of doing it.
Yep.
It's a game and we do it to have fun.
Yep.
And, like, expectations aside, like, if you have a passion for it, go for it.
I agree.
I agree. I hope that's helped just someone listening. I just think that's such an interesting talking point.
Yeah, it is. It is really. I love talking about that.
Yeah, same. I think it's an important conversation to have as well. To
I completely
be honest.
agree.
So yeah, hey, you want a DM?
give it a go. Do it honestly. Like in my heart of hearts, I just think there's so many people out there who are like, man, I can't play D&D. Like, and I can't find a dungeon master. It's just like, why don't you give it a go?
I agree.
I understand that you don't know everything about the game, but who gives a fuck? Yep. Nobody needs to know everything about the game. I didn't know everything about the game.
I agree.
Like, he's knocked it, but it's okay.
Oh. There's potential of spinning on
bum here.
Spinning on bum hole.
But like, if you can't find a game, but there's a bunch of people in our Discord who would love to have a dungeon master, give it a go and see if you enjoy it. If you don't, no one cares. You don't have to do it anymore.
Why don't you get up, honey?
Go on, up.
Why do we... Oh, good boy.
Good boy.
All right. This next one, this is the penultimate. The title is, I left right after session 0. The DM has asked me why. Hello, everyone. I apologize in advance for my English. Man, I feel so bad when people say things like that.
Stop apologizing for your English.
Gosh.
It's not your first language.
Oh, my God.
But we don't know any other languages. So
Exactly. So please don't apologize
So
for
don't
that.
apologize.
I make this post because I don't know if I did the right thing since I kind of lack experience. I joined a new campaign 3 weeks ago, the second campaign in my entire life, and basically it's heavily focused on magic, so every player will play a class that uses magic, wizard, sorcerer, druid, and even subclasses such as eldritch knight or arcane trickster.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Session 0 was supposed to happen 3 weeks later. It's an online campaign. We all know the DM is a beginner. 3 weeks later, the day before session 0, there was no communication at all. So I sent a message in the group chat asking if everyone was still available for the session 0. No one answered. Only the DM answered 4 hours later at 1 a.m. So session 0 happens. One player is missing and uncontactable. DM reminds me about the message that I sent and then tells me he is the only one who was allowed to check up upon the group. We connect on Foundry, and when it's time to create our characters, it turns out his server lacks a lot of content, like subclasses and spells. I don't necessarily know what that means. I'm assuming it's kind of like D&D Beyond.
Something like that, yeah.
So we couldn't do what we initially wanted. I felt at this moment that the DM was unprepared and didn't bother to check his content available on Foundry beforehand. There's an edit here, which I will include. Would you like the edits now or after you hear the whole thing?
After the whole thing.
After the whole thing. Then we had to roll 4d6 for our characters. I was the only one with good rolls. The total came to 80. Everyone else had very, very bad rolls. One had a total of 59 points.
It's not okay.
With at least 2 stats on 6 and another one with 60. The DM allowed it nonetheless, and it bothered me. The last straw was when he presented his DMPC, basically our leader who will accompany us. After the session 0, I decided to leave. I told them, hey guys, thanks for session 0. I realized I'm not suited for this campaign, therefore I'm going to leave so the DM can quickly replace me. And I even sent a private message to the DM. But now he is asking me the real reason to why I left. I don't know if I should be honest or if I should be vague. What do you guys think? Should I have given a chance to the DM since he is a beginner and stay, or did I make the right choice to leave after session 0?
So at the beginning, I was like, when there's no contact, if there's nothing to say and we've got the date agreed, I'm like, okay, fair enough. There could have been a gentle reminder, but I'm not too fussed that there was no contact.
Yeah.
And, then you turn up and people are there and one person's missing. Maybe that person dropped out. That's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. But then the DM says, I'm the only one. It's like, what? So you're telling me that if I have no idea if D&D is on or not, I'm not allowed to check, and if it's not on, make other plans?
Yeah, and
because
it's like,
you're the only one that's allowed to check?
You have to privately check with the DM, and you know what?
You message the DM so they can then message the group. What's the point?
I'm the type of person where if I have a plan, I need confirmation on the day it's still happening. Don't care. I need confirmation. I'm the person who sends the message being like, hey, are we still on for this?
Yeah.
I can't imagine if you were like, nah, Margaret, I'm the only person
Margaret,
who can do this,
if you could just leave that to me. If you could ask me, and then I'll do it for you.
That is strange.
That is
strange behavior.
It's not,
I would say that that's actually a red flag.
That is a red flag. I think I would still turn up to the session 0 at this point, though. I think I would personally still turn up to the session 0.
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
I think I would. I think I would still turn up to the session 0. Honestly, I would. If on Foundry, like, you have to buy things.
Yeah.
It's like you can't expect.
No.
But at the same time, if we're playing on Foundry and you're saying we can only play magical classes and these are the classes to pick from, but then they're not on Foundry, I can understand how that would be a little bit like, I thought you would have all the classes that you said were available.
Yeah.
But they don't. But at the same time, you can't expect that of somebody. That's
Yeah.
like money that people have to spend. I get that.
There is an edit revolving that specifically.
Okay.
Because people, I think, were making exactly the same point that you were making. Edit. I see some comments saying that I'm entitled or spoiled. Let me explain the full context to help you understand.
Okay.
This group was created on a public server in which everyone who is willing to DM a game can post the potential. Other players only have to apply. The DM posted this game with the premise we are going to play a magical class, such as Arcane Trickster, Wizard, Eldritch Knight for roleplay and plot purposes. Once I applied to the game, he asked each of us which class we were willing to play, and he agreed to it. 3 weeks later, when Session 0 begins, he realized we could not play those classes on his Foundry. I then explained to him that he needed to purchase some modules. Another player told him we could micro our sheets by ourselves. The DM didn't listen to either of us and asked us to choose classes and subclasses that were only available on his Foundry. Hence, my expectations don't come from a place of entitlement. It comes from the parameters the DM set up himself for this campaign before me or the other players applied to it in the first place.
So that's the thing. It's like, if it was just turning up expecting, then I agree. It would have been like a little bit of entitlement.
Yeah.
But turning up after the DM's been like, hey, we're playing these classes.
Like a month beforehand.
Yeah. And then that not being available.
Yeah.
It's not even like... It's just, I expected it because you told me.
Yeah.
So,
like the thing is, another player being like, "Well, we can just do our sheets ourselves. You don't have to worry about it." I'm assuming.
And then the DM being like, "No."
I'm assuming I've never used Foundry before. I'm assuming Foundry is kind of like D&D Beyond in the way that like the GM has access to all the character sheets and it's all in there, and you have to have the books, etc. Which, by the way, so expensive.
Oh my god, all of the modules would be so expensive. I understand that they are cheaper online, but they're still expensive. They're like, what, 20, 30 quid a pop?
Yeah.
And if you need like a number of books, you could be talking like 60, 70, 80 quid, which is a lot.
I can only speak for D&D Beyond. You can buy specific classes and subclasses for cheaper, but that I feel like that's beside the point.
That's beside the point. And the thing is, like, I don't understand why the great solution of we can just make our own sheets.
Yeah.
Like, instead of having it all on the thing is a great. And at this point, is this a valid point? Like, at this point, when we're about to move into 1D&D and we've been playing 5e for 10 years, and a lot of people are bored of 5e classes.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Like, how many times can you play a Vengeance Paladin over and over and over and over and over and over again for 10 years?
Yeah, true.
Like, before you go, I want to play a game that has all the books open.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if I said to my group, let's just play a 5e game, you'd all be like, no.
Yeah.
And, that's just, the way we are. And it's not because of entitlement, it's because of expectations set by the Dungeon Master.
Yes.
And, to be fair, I don't. That's less of a problem.
I honestly, I don't really think. To me, I don't think that would be a problem to me personally. Probably wouldn't have shown up to the Session 0 after being told I can't communicate with the group.
But they only got told that at the Session 0.
You know what?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. The next points, I think, for me, are what would have solidified. And by the way, I want to say, I think OP did absolutely completely the right thing, and I think OP communicated the reason that they don't want to play in exactly the right way they should have. But the rolling the 4d6 and not having a minimum, this is why people hate rolling.
People hate rolling because they do it wrong. And there is technically no wrong way because there just isn't. But you're going to have such a fucking unbelievably unbalanced party.
Yeah.
And also you're going to have some extremely weak characters.
Yeah. Two stats at 6.
Who wants 2 6s?
No one. No one wants 2 6s.
Was that -3?
Yeah. No one wants 2 6s.
Nobody wants that. And, like, this is the thing. if you don't like standard array, take standard array as a minimum total.
Yeah.
What is it, 75 or 70 or something
71
like that?
or something
72.
like that?
It's in like the low 70s.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't like playing standard array because you don't like just being like, oh, this one goes here and this one goes here and this one goes here. It's just like you can still have that total, but yeah, you could have a really low one, but that means you could have a really high one as well.
Yeah.
Like it's the rigidity of standard array that I think people dislike.
I agree.
It's like if I could take standard array and jumble all the numbers up and take away from one and add to the other, they would love that because they can min-max the way that they want.
Yeah.
Sort of like point buy, but I also don't like point buy either.
Yeah, same.
Like,
I don't like point buy.
Rolling stats feel so much better when you have a minimum.
Yeah, I
just love
agree.
it. I think it feels great.
Agree. And that's bias. That's bias for us because that's what we use. But again, to be the only one who rolled 80 and to have someone rolling 59 and 60, like that is going to feel horrible for everyone in game.
Like the person who rolled 60 and you rolled 80, that basically means you just have another stat. Let's just say you have a 7th stat at 20 above them.
Yeah, like, which is wild. And like, again, the thing is, something like this that is so formative to your characters, this is something that is going to be with you forever throughout your whole D&D game, and you only get a chance to improve them every 4 levels.
Every 4 levels, or maybe with a magic item.
Yeah.
Or a magical tattoo or something.
Yeah. And like, I wouldn't like that either. Like that would bother me as well.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
Like players having a total of 59. Boring, just boring.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
you would be a peasant.
Yeah, you'd be useless.
Nah, you wouldn't be a peasant because their stats are even lower.
Yeah, but you would feel at the very least useless.
I reckon you probably wouldn't be too far off peasant stats.
Yeah,
because you've got
useless.
6 stats.
2 6s.
You have 6 stats total. And you don't even have a 10 in all of them because you have 59.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
Man, that is bad.
You wouldn't actually
have a plus in anything.
You would have a Z if you were to equal it all out. You would have a 0 in all and a -1.
Yeah. God, that stinks. Yeah, that stinks.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And then the other person, someone with 80,
the other person who has
higher than average,
who has 60 is 0 in everything.
Yeah.
But that's probably not even how equal. There's probably a couple that are at
of course. Yeah.
like 13 and then some that are that's just not good enough.
Yeah. And then, the last straw, which also would have been the last straw for me, is there's going to be a continuous DMPC who's the leader of the group throughout the whole adventure. That absolutely, for me, would be an absolute no-go.
Look, I don't mind a DMPC. I don't mind I've recently ran. I say I don't mind them. I actually fucking hate running them, personally. I love running them in terms of roleplay.
Yeah.
But I hate running them in terms of
combat.
Actually having to use them in combat and stuff like that because I want to run my enemies. That's what I want to focus on.
Yeah.
I want to focus on the enemies. But I don't mind having people who are made up with actual classes who are in the game.
Yeah.
And I have the character sheets for and stuff like that. Sometimes they do happen, and I can play them. But session 1 and they're the leader.
And then to call them the leader. Yeah.
No,
I
thank
think we've said this so many times. As soon as someone dubs themselves the leader, they're not the leader.
You're not the leader.
You're not the leader. That's not what
a leader is. Anointed by the people.
Exactly. And yeah, I agree. That would
Democracy manifest.
Oh God, R.I.P.
I know, yeah.
Oh goodness, succulent Chinese meal.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious me, R.I.P. I found out last night. Yeah. R.I.P. Thanks for the laughs. And I think OP did the right thing. Thanks for the session 0. I'm not suited for the campaign, so I'm just gonna leave now so the DM can replace me. And then the thing is, I understand the DM being like, "Oh, why did you leave?" I do understand that, wanting to know the reasons. But I guess the question is, should OP then be like, "Oh, because this, and this," or is that just something that's unnecessary because OP didn't like it, OP left? I'm assuming everyone else who stayed is okay with them, It's 2 sides of the coin, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like, if we don't know what we did wrong, we can't improve.
Yeah.
Which is, which I feel like sometimes it's better to know where you fucked up.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree.
Yeah.
You at least know why people have left.
And that's something maybe later on you can reflect on.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, it's like you were there for such little time.
Yeah.
You didn't even get into the game.
Yeah.
You met once. You didn't like what you saw.
Yeah.
You're more than within your right to leave.
Yeah. And you're more within your right to not have to give an explanation too.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's wrong. I don't think either's wrong.
I don't think
at
this
early stage, like, could you have probably helped the dungeon master? But at the same time, were they truly going to listen? This is the issue.
And the thing is, like, all of these things, I think, we say this all the time, there's no wrong way to do a D&D. It's just preferences.
Yeah.
And all of these things are preferences, right? Like, this isn't an inherent, you didn't like me because I'm a woman, for example. When that's inherently wrong. This is, they chose a way to roll stats, which we don't agree with, but, and we don't like, but, everyone else seemed fine with it. And then they brought in a DMPC. We wouldn't like it, but everyone else who stayed, I'm assuming, is.
Yeah.
Like, is this a conversation where you'd be like, okay, well, these are the things that you did that don't suit me, but these are the core way you play, and I don't want to change that.
It's like that. It's at the end of the day, it's your game.
Yeah,
like, I agree with you. Would you be beating your face against a brick wall by talking to this dungeon master? I don't know. Like, I don't think you know enough about this dungeon master. Because if they say, "Why did you leave?" and then you say all of these reasons, and they say, "Well, I like doing it that way," it's just like, then why did you ask me?
Yeah, and then that's when you'd be like, well, that's exactly why I left, because I don't. So would it be a moot point, a moot conversation, or you know what? I don't know. I think both are valid, genuinely.
Yeah, because at the same time, it's like you have spent so little time there that you don't actually owe anyone anything. I don't think.
That's it. If it's too much of a drain on you, like
mentally
to have to kind of
explain and then potentially argue,
because again, you don't owe anyone anything, honestly,
and especially somebody you've met once, left quite a bad impression on you.
Yeah, exactly. And you're also not anyone's teacher. Like, it's not your responsibility. But at the same time, it's like, would it hurt? Well, there is a final edit if you want to hear it.
Go on then.
Thanks everyone for your answers. There's a lot of messages and I can't answer to them all, but I have answered the DM, telling him in the kindest and politest way possible what made me leave, and I wished him the best for his campaign. So
there you go.
There you
go. I think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
Because they asked, I guess.
They asked, and you gave them the reason you wanted to leave, like, straight up, and you just said, and like, I think at the end, as long as it's a closed book, and as long as it's like, I don't want this to be like a conversation or an argument.
Yeah.
Like, you've asked me, I wasn't going to tell you, but I feel like I should.
Good luck, though.
Good luck. Like, these are the reasons. Thanks a lot for the chance. See you around.
Well, this is what happened with us, right? We joined a game that was not suited for us at all.
It wasn't. It's not that the vibes weren't right, but the play style wasn't right.
It was old school. It was an old school game.
Like the play style didn't fit.
Yeah, it was 5e, but it was old school 5e.
It was like 5e with a number of like 3.5 rules or 4e rules.
Yeah,
and like just the way that like. Real grindy. It was a grind fest.
Yeah, and you know what? We had multiple session zeros. We went to the first session. We immediately, we are not coming back.
Yeah.
We messaged the person and said, hey, we're not coming back. And the same thing happened. They said, is there a reason why?
And we just were honest.
And yeah, because I think they were hurt and they were like, have I offended you? And we were like, no. God, no. It's just the way that you play is not suited for us. We don't like playing like this.
It's just not what we're looking for. It's just not what excites us. It's not the reason we play D&D.
Yeah, and we left on a good note.
And they were like, hey, that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Like, not dragging it out.
Yeah, and we didn't have to. We didn't have to have that conversation if we didn't want to.
But we let them know, and they were like thankful for it, and it was sound.
Yeah.
I think we've talked to them since, and it's
we have
been
talked
totally
to them
fine.
Yeah. Check in every now and then. Yeah. Indeed.
It's good shit.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, an interesting one.
Yeah.
Here's the last one before we get into the art.
Okay, baby.
I think this is an interesting one.
Oh my god.
The title is Talking About a D&D Campaign to Someone Who Didn't Participate in the Campaign is as interesting as talking to them about a dream. I mean, I feel like you can discuss things like setting, party composition, and funny moments, but talking about actual story points or elaborating in situations feels a little off to me. much like a dream where it is very interesting for the one that saw it, but very boring for those that didn't participate. I discussed that with some members of our table when they were telling me about an old campaign that they played, and I think they got a little bit upset. They didn't tell me anything, but I could feel it. I think I wasn't too crude about it, but either way, should I bring it back again? Am I the only one that thinks like this? And just to elaborate, I didn't tell them your stories are boring. I was a little more subtle than that. This happened when playing and a player stopped the game and started telling something about one of his old characters, something about being in a crime syndicate and that character would know where to look because etc. And then the other one continued with what happened at the time. And I told them something like, maybe we should just focus on the current game and that we shouldn't take too much time talking about something that most other players didn't experience. This happens a lot with this player.
God, I feel like you maybe weren't as passive aggressive. I think the way that you actually said it was extremely passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I think you were trying to just be nice, and I understand that people like interpret things in different ways. If I'd have heard that, I'd have been like,
yeah, oh yeah, same.
Jesus Christ, there's been a murder.
Yeah. And like the thing is, I think there's different points and different layers to this.
I think there's so many different points and so many different layers to this because I think if people, man, this is so hard. It's like the dreams thing. It is like the dreams thing. There's a number of people who hate hearing about people's dreams.
Yeah.
Because they feel like it was a dream. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like it's your dream and like I'm not in your mind.
Whereas I love to hear about.
And I love hearing about your dreams. But if because like I'm your life partner.
Yes,
but if somebody who I just don't care about came up to me and was telling me about the dreams, I'd be like, look, mate, it's not that I don't give a fuck, but I don't. And it's the same thing. It's hard when it comes to campaigns because you aren't invested.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be.
Yeah.
Unless you have a desire to be.
Yeah.
You aren't invested.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting a second-hand, watered-down version of a campaign that you don't care about.
Yeah.
And there's a few people who would really love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Like, because they just love hearing about D&D. And maybe somebody is a great storyteller and they actually know that about them. So it's like, oh, this person's a great storyteller. Yeah, I'm ready to listen to it.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the DM, you have no investment into the campaign, you know no backstory, you don't know the world primer, you're just getting a second-hand conversation. It's just like, it will be less impactful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It will
yeah,
be.
Yeah,
it just naturally will be.
I agree.
What do you think?
I'm the other way to this, actually, I think. But this obviously
not
comes
that
from
I'm
such
saying
a...
that.
No,
I'm
yeah.
saying...
But this just comes from such a personal bias, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I believe there is a time and place for everything. Do I believe the time and place to talk about... The thing is, if someone... We do it all the time. We reminisce about our past characters all the time. Exactly in this way, right? We'll be doing something and we'll go... God, do you remember that time that X and X failed this X and X and it was so funny? But that's different because we're talking to people who were involved. But then again, we do it all the time to Abby. We talk about the first
Abby
campaign.
wasn't in the first campaign, yeah.
And from what I can tell, Abby's very polite though. From what I can tell, Abby's very...
Abby was sat there like
shut the fuck up.
You're always yapping on about it.
You know, we do this, but I believe there is a time and place. Now, let's, at the beginning, did you say doo-doo mentioned? At the beginning, whenever we meet up for D&D, we have like 40 minutes of just chit-chat. We always ask Matthew how his other campaign goes. We ask because we want to know. And I guess that's the difference of asking and then just being told.
That's it.
And part of me can't help but feel like if we were in the middle of doing something important in the game, but again, time and place, and then this is just an example, Matthew doesn't do this. If Matthew was to be like, oh gosh, this reminds me of this time with this character and went on a rant about that, would I be like, okay, cool story, bro, or would I be interested? You know? Yeah. And you know, me as a person, I would be interested, but I can see how someone else would be like, cool story, bro. Why are you telling this?
We're fighting the dragon right now. Can you like shut up?
Time and place.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I like to hear people talk about what they care about.
Yeah, like something that they're passionate about.
Yeah,
And I think it's weird for us because on Patreon,
that's exactly the point I was going to make.
It's strange for us because on Patreon,
yeah,
we do campaign updates where we literally just recap our campaign for people.
Literally pay
money to be there and like listen to it. And you know, it's different as well because you know we're content creators on the internet.
Yeah,
we talk about our campaigns and we did it. We gave our last campaign, our second campaign, we fully laid bare on the internet and people seem to really enjoy it, and that's why we did it.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of like, oh, we know it's going to be good because we've heard how good it could be before.
Yeah.
So, but I do think it is tough for some people who maybe aren't bothered about hearing.
Yeah.
And then are then forced to hear.
Yeah, that's it. You know, like my personal bias aside, I want to hear people talk about things they care about.
Yeah.
Like it gets me excited.
Yeah.
Here, like again, to use Matthew as an example, he talks about like code a lot. He talks about processes a lot. I don't know a single thing about that.
Don't know a single thing about it.
I indulge him and I enjoy to listen
because he's passionate about
exactly,
it.
And it makes me really interested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, if a random stranger came up to me and started telling me something like that on the street, would I have the same reaction?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I would indulge them, I think, because I'm polite.
Maybe momentarily.
Yeah, but you know,
but I'm not going to sit there and
I wouldn't want to hear it for you know, half an hour.
But you know, your friends that you play D&D with, reminiscing about an old campaign.
Yeah.
Would I hit them with that?
No.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't. And I'm sure there's been times where this exact thing has happened in games that we're not involved in, right? And we would never. We would hear the story out. So I don't know. Does this come down to, well, they're my friends, so I'm going to listen to them? Does that still mean you actually want to? Yeah,
like,
well,
that's
exactly.
The thing. It's like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you sometimes listen to people go on about their old campaigns and be like a little bit like, I just really don't care? Or do you listen to them because they're passionate about it?
Yeah.
I don't think either are wrong. It's like,
no, I don't.
You not wanting to hear about it and not, like, you can't be forced to care about something.
No, totally. And I actually think, and I'm not saying that I do this, I love to hear about anyone's D&D campaign. D&D, I will listen to anyone talk about D&D no matter what, because of that's who I am. Now, something else. You know, I think actually being a good friend is wanting to hear your friends out, even if you are personally not invested, but you make yourself personally invested because your friend cares.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You hear them out and you listen and you engage because you're their friend and you want to.
Yeah.
You don't care, but you want to, so you do for your friend. You
know?
know?
Yeah. I think, man, I can see the parallel though, because I know some people who hate hearing about dreams. I hate hearing about dreams. Like
who?
Well, one of them is a content creator, is Craig Reynolds. He talks about it all the time. He's just like, man, I couldn't be less fucking interested. When people talk to me about dreams, he's just like, I don't know why, I just can't be bothered about what happened in it.
And that's his prerogative.
And that's his prerogative. But like but it's a common thing. Like people don't like hearing about people's dreams. Really? They find it really boring and uninteresting.
Me telling everyone about my dreams
but the
constantly.
Thing is, they seem interested.
Yeah.
On Twitch, they seem interested. You are interested, right?
They're like, no, we just do this because we like you.
So, like, I can see the similarities between the dream and the campaign.
Yeah. I can.
Because and do you want like, and there's probably also some people who aren't great storytellers.
Agreed.
And
there's some people who probably rant for maybe 20 minutes too long.
Yeah, a little bit too long, and then and then this happened. And then this happened.
Yeah.
And like I get it, and people can go on. But you know, if like that's it. Like Wabs and Matthew play in the same game, and when they come and they talk about it, I'm interested because they're my friends.
Yeah.
And Jack's a dungeon master.
Yeah.
And like I like hearing what he's done, and I like hearing what Matthew did in his session.
And I just love hearing about D&D.
Yeah.
For me, I think the D&D thing is not the issue, obviously, but yeah, I think there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah,
I think there really is. And even if it was a D&D thing, if we were in the middle of something serious and then this happened, I think even then I would be like, maybe I would hit them with a, well, let's just finish this and then we can hear all about it, you know? I think maybe I would hit someone with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but
there was something else as well in there, wasn't there?
Maybe we should focus on the current game and we shouldn't take too much time talking about something that most of the players didn't experience.
That bit's passive aggressive. That bit's rough. Most of the players didn't experience.
Oh god, yeah. I think maybe that's worse than being like your stories are boring. Because at least if you just hit them with your stories are boring.
Like, they know where they stand, but right now, they probably think that you think their stories are boring, and they're upset that nobody didn't participate, and people didn't participate, and you're still yapping about it.
Oh,
That's
God.
really passive-aggressive.
Oh, God.
That's a roughie.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And,
this ain't it, baby.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah,
I would
you
like
tell
to
me
know.
about it.
I would like to know. Right, on to the art. You know what? That went on for so much longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you.
That's okay.
Maybe I put one too many in, to be honest. But yes, on to the art. So, hey, I'm going to apologize right now for this piece of artwork.
Yep.
Is it too soon? That's
Is
for
it
you
too
to decide.
soon? Is it too soon? It came out years ago.
Maybe it's too soon. Who knows? The title of this piece of artwork is My Client Gave His PC's Son the Nina Tucker Treatment.
And if those of you who don't know what the Nina Tucker treatment is, have you watched Full Metal Alchemist?
The backstory to this.
It's rough.
I'm finally back with... this has been done by caminhaopipa, and... I'm sorry, I probably said that horribly. We will leave links to their Carbon Made. I don't know what that is. To their portfolio down below. I'm finally back with another piece commissioned by a shiny set of pants with the context as follows. The adventurers looking for the lost son of the barbarian follow the clues to an old lab in the middle of the woods. After defeating the mad scientist that used the lab as his base, they hear a familiar voice call out from the darkest. Dad?
No!
This was a lot of fun to create. Thanks again for commissioning. Now, if you don't know what the Nina Tucker treatment means, in Full Metal Alchemist, basically...
There's a guy
who loves his daughter, and he turns out crazy, and he basically it's all about like transmutation and stuff like that.
Changing things and making them different and combining things. They
have a family dog, and basically he like melds Nina and the family dog into this like chimera, which is this like awful monstrosity, and it's so sad. It's so sad. And for someone to be like, yeah, I want my
hit me with that. That's
oh my god.
D&D's a fantasy game, and that's what I want. In my fantasy game.
My god. And I just think the imagery is just so sad to me.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously.
It is quite a sad looking image.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
And like, you know, God, I would love to know what the steps were after this. Like,
kill a scientist.
Well, scientist dead.
Okay, good.
They've killed scientist, but like, is this thing suffering?
Is there an unmake?
Yeah.
Is there an extract both?
You know, it says it's able to communicate. It says dad. Like, is it intelligent? Is it sentient? Pain? Is it suffering? What do you do from this point onwards? Because this is not your child anymore.
No.
Like, oh God, I think that, I don't know why, that really creeps me out.
Yeah, weird.
That really freaks me the fuck out.
But at the same time, like, watching like sad moments in fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, wanting to relive them and have that, for maybe some people at the table who didn't like experience it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I love it. I love this.
The stories, when it happened in Full Metal Alchemist, I was like, God.
Like, devastated, like, disturbing.
Yeah.
Tragic. Incredibly tragic.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Hey, sadness.
Sadness.
And of course, the artwork is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It goes without saying that the artwork is gorgeous. Kai Oliveira, I think, is the artist of this.
Very cool.
Please check them out. The links are below.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And then the last piece of art. Let me write the timestamp down. 1:24:37. the title of this is Oshka Ravina, Archfey Warlock and Fledgling Hag. And this is the art.
Very cool.
First of all, what a gorgeous, striking art style.
Oh, the art style is vibrant and clear and amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Like, simple but so intricate at the same time.
Intricate. And the subtle changes of each step to become
full hag.
Yeah, full Baba Yaga in the bottom floor is just so good.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Becoming more of the sort of like stereotypical hag witch towards the end is really cool.
Yeah. So Oshka Ravina is the daughter of a hag who is also her Archfey patron. Oshka was not conceived, but rather magically carved and incubated within a nesting doll, which she eventually was born from.
Giving me Hexblood vibes.
yeah.
Hexblood-esque.
Her mother is siphoning her magic into Oshka over time, who will eventually consume the powers in their entirety, ending the physical life of her mother and becoming a new hag. This is part of the typical life cycle of a hag, and Oshka's mother will live on inside of her physical being, just as the hag before her, as the hag before her, and before her, etc.
I love that. That's such a fucking cool concept.
And to tie that in with the idea of a nesting doll, I love that's given me goosebumps.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
As an adventurer, Oshka is basically on Rumspringer. And each level up represents more power gained from her mother. By level 20, she will have consumed her mother and become the hag herself, returning to the layer of her origin and taking up the mantle of the territory and position. I just wanted to say thank you all to those who have commented and upvoted. I'm genuinely blown away by the love for this character that I've received. I am honored and humbled, truly.
Do you want to know what I like about this? Cultural diversity.
Yes.
And like what some people in like specific countries might deem other people's like cultures or religions to be like maybe like brutal, or maybe just like strange and different. It's just like some people might be like, you consumed your own mother. It's just like that's just what we do. Like
it's an honor.
Differences in between all of us that show diversity. I just think it's so cool.
I agree.
I think it's a brilliant concept. I think that people would maybe hear about it and be taken back.
Yeah.
But then maybe begin to understand. He's just knocked the camera, but I think it's okay. And we're on the last leg anyway. So, just like the party maybe would hear it at the beginning and be like, that's brutal.
Yeah,
but
and be like, oh my God. And I think some would be like, we need to find a way to stop this happening.
To stop it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, we don't stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's better? Just getting old and dying? Or giving your power and your knowledge and
siphoning it.
All of the knowledge before me of all of my ancestors being passed on to you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's sort of beautiful and poetic.
I agree. And that doesn't mean it's not tragic and it's not sad.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Oshka is probably going to miss her mother and probably doesn't, in a way, want this because she's going to lose her mother, but then she's not really losing her.
No.
I think this is a really beautiful storytelling. I think this is really cool character development.
I agree.
I love the physical changes. I love how she goes from just a girl to a hag, and how the nesting doll just gets smaller and smaller and smaller in her hand, and she gets a raven, and then she has 3 ravens at the end. I think this is just so beautiful. Good. And to base it on the nesting doll, I love the analogy of she was born in a nesting doll, and then
she becomes the nesting doll.
And then she becomes like
the top layer of the nesting doll.
Yeah, exactly.
As each like ancestor getting bigger and more recent is like now within her as she's consumed the magic of her ancestor. I think
that is such an original idea.
I think it's an original idea. I think it does show cultural diversity.
I completely agree.
And I just love maybe people... And I would love, honestly, people maybe misunderstanding it at the beginning in the party and would maybe hope that people would misunderstand it.
Yes.
So that they can see that it's not this painful and weird process. It is just how how we are
I
and
agree.
what we do.
I agree. I think
that's great.
Absolutely beautiful.
I love it.
So the OP is called Quailmix. I can't find right now any links to their like art portfolios, but I'll find them.
We'll put it in the description no matter what.
What a beautiful character.
Unreal.
I love that.
Brilliant idea.
I really do. What a great one to end on.
Great. Unbelievable.
That's it. That's your
Thank you so much for being here. Check out our Patreon in the link below. Check out our merch, www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Patrons get 10% off. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Etsy shop down below. All that good stuff. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you.
Yeah.
We have been the Eldritch Podblast. And we're going to see you on Thursday. Bye.
And another huge thank you to our patrons for all of your support. A big shout out to our fellow entities.
Hoobs.
Ariel.
Tula.
Runarian.
Arkham Labs Cosplay.
Maddie.
Pepsi Woman.
Luna.
Teddysaurus.
Caspian.
Ryan the Giant 111.
J-Spot.
Ultrafail.
Dallin M.
Sleepy.
Joe Dragonlord 2.
Alistar.
Lawkeeper Society.
Ricky B.
Danny Phantom.
Catherine.
Faustskin.
Azuriel.
Panda Queen Plays.
Xylo Boy.
Lucas Iapetis.
Luna River.
Ruined Rivers. Thank you again for all your support.
And if you too would like to become a patron of the Eldritch Podblast, check the link below.